All right, good morning, everybody. I'm Thomas Blair.
And I am Mark Halash.
And we are here for patch notes
From
the
the
future. Yes.
So glad you guys practiced.
We are joined today by Jack and John on the other side of the camera. Say hi.
Hello.
Gibson can't talk today, which is great. You don't have to hear his lip. And today we are going to be talking about patch notes that we got coming for 5.5. It's not as close when we did this for 5.4, but it is still, we have done lots of things. Progress is being made on 5.5, so let's talk about those things because I'm sure people will be way excited
Dying to know.
as we start talking. So you want to head us off here, Mark?
Sure. Let's see. 5.5 new items. Spiders. New mob type, including hunger version and variants for spiders, have been added with new mob abilities.
Yes, that hints at an entire giant AI sweep where basically we have been gutting the entirety of the old AI code and making it way better. Way better. So it will be a lot more fun on your end, which is what you care about. And what we care about is it will be way easier to maintain and not a nightmare
Easy to
for...
maintain, do cool stuff.
Yep.
All that stuff.
So that was kind of all wrapped up in the team basically who was working on that centered around building the spiders for Spider Canyon, appropriately named. And it will be lots of fun.
Let's see. We have a new campaign map called Wrath and has been updated, populated, and ready for testing, which will include said spiders from the previous note. First iteration of new AI brains and strategies have been created and set up for better mob performance. So we're in the process of not only spiders, but updating the existing NPCs to use the new brains and strategies and manner of being. Next one, very exciting. EK vendors and stalls are available to craft and use. This is the first stage of vendors to support better player economy usage.
Oh, yeah. So we're trying to close that loop where crafters and harvesters make and find stuff, and then they put it up on vendors, and the people who have no interest in that and just want to kill can go buy that stuff. And yeah, so vendors was one of the final pieces of that, and that's starting to get pretty cool too as well. So lots of fun stuff so far.
Indeed. Character LOD adjustments have been made for maximum performance. Initial changes for crafting replication have been introduced for better crafting performance and future use of projects and factories.
You want to talk about that for a second?
Sure, why not? That's another big one.
Yeah, that's another big one, which is basically whenever you closed a crafting station with a project on it, or just crafting in general on it, not a project yet, you would completely lose it if you closed the window.
Yeah.
So this whole portion was about rewriting that such that a station can now remember what you were working on, because ideally in the future we want to make it so that you can craft something on this station, turn over to this station and craft something at the same time, go back to this one and it remembered what you were crafting, we're calling that a project, and you can continue down, because they have all been playing with the timers set to under a minute and under 10 seconds, but those timers are going to increase. So it's important that you have multiple stations, as well as the stations remember essentially what they were cooking at the time.
Right.
So that's all part of the back end of that tech that is coming online. Initially, what you will see is your stuff won't get eaten when you accidentally close a window.
Definitely an improvement. Let's see, where are we at? When resetting the crafting session, it will now persist the selective recipe from the prior session, which I believe Blair just mentioned. New weapon visuals, animations, and effects have been added for a Scimitar Focus Orb and one-handed throwing hammer. Crafted recipes for these have been re-enabled, so that's cool. You finally be able to use those things.
Yeah, Focus Orb, the Focus Orb looks pretty cool, and the Scimitar sickle is tearing this team apart. It's so funny. The whole Master of Scimitars, we made it as a sickle because it looks like a sickle. So like, it's Platoon, man. Half the team is on sickle, half the team is on Scimitar. It's just tearing us apart. So anyways, it looks pretty sweet, and yeah, it'll look badass in combat.
High-Elf female playable race has been added.
Ooh, High-Elf female.
And female Centaur playable race has been added.
The female Centaur, yes.
And further adjustments to character movement have been added for better playability.
That was yet another big piece, was going in and messing with the character controllers to make it actually behave as we wanted it to. So you're going to see fallout from that. Hopefully, you just think that things feel better.
Yeah.
That's ultimately the goal.
That's the hope.
Is it's seamless to you guys, and you just notice that movement feels a little better. It's always just a little bit better.
So next section, death loop and crypts.
Oh.
Upon player death, player is prompted with a corpse release option with a background 6-minute timer. And upon player death, players take item decay.
Yep.
And upon pressing the F to interact to release or the timer expires, the player crow warps to a nearby temple/hero statue. And the player must now fly back to the corpse. Crows can now fly free around the world. That's kind of a different change.
Yep.
There is a Where's My Corpse indicator that will appear on the UI compass widget, so you can see where you need to basically go. And the crow may use the tow truck to retrieve their body at the temple graveyard for additional decay. So that's another way to basically go instantly to your corpse at the cost of a big hit to all your durability and your equipment.
Yes, the basically this is all about putting the death and decay loop back to where it was originally before we got too worried about crows flying around the world.
Yeah.
And then eventually we just caved on that and we said, just F it. We're fine with that. You now have to fly back to your body. Tow trucking just makes you eat 25% or whatever. Have you set those values back yet?
No.
Okay.
Still waiting on the 10%.
The 10% and the
10%
anyways,
fix.
it's going to be a huge hit if you tow truck, so you're going to want to fly back. This also opens up, and we've made the placeholders for it. We may not have the tech in time, which is for the resurrect, if they're still within that 6-minute timer, and the death blow to instantly send somebody back if you're on the other team. Todd also wanted a Duber head to fly off, but I'm not sure if we're going to get that either.
Let's see. Crow may use the tow truck? No, we're past that.
Yep.
The crow is prompted with an F to interact when they are near the corpse. Completing this will return the crow into the vessel. So F to interact to get back into your corpse from a crow. The corpse is still universal multi-day timeout. If this expires, the body and the crow will auto tow truck to the nearest temple. And first time entry into the world always requires a character create option, obviously.
Correct. So you're generally you have one body in the world, or you're a crow. And the first time you come in the world, we need to put you into a vessel of some kind, so we will give you a default vessel. So, and then basically the way we ended up where we were was because we didn't want people flying around the world as crows, ruining the scouting game. But now we have more tech where we can just put them in their own lair and not reveal the map as they fly around is the goal with that. So, moving on.
Sure.
I'll read this. Give you a break. Skills, skill trees, and stats. Item stat modifications, we're updating the stat directly. If it was an energy pool type stat, it has been fixed to update the max stat defined of the pool stat. That is a whole lot of gibberish.
That's a lot of words. I think, does that mean that health works again?
I think that's what that means. I hope so. That was definitely a very engineering style note. Monster Tree personal damage modifier will now reduce damage rather than increasing it by a lot.
That was a Halash note, as you can tell. No. Yes.
Yes. You know what missed that was the fix I made to the cooldown period on the was it the champion? Was it the Monster Tree? Was also getting longer cooldowns instead of shorter cooldowns.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's been fixed as well.
Because I like to randomly type things into.
Yes. A rare version of Ethereal Dust called Chaos Embers can now be found in place of Ethereal Dust. So you'll have a very small % chance to get a Chaos Ember instead, which I'm not sure if we've shown the art piece of the Allfather ripping out the guts of the dragon, but he's spewing Chaos Embers across the universe. These are things, they have lore, you will enjoy. Crafting. Great Pommel and Crossguard now require 2 metal bars instead of 1 metal bar.
Which is actually a buff.
Yeah, it's a buff to the two-handed weapon.
That means you get more stats, right?
Yep.
More bars, more stats.
Basically, that's how we determine how many stats go into an object. Updated the metal section stat packages. So the metal sections are used on shields, and I need to find a way to put them into the two-handed sword because I still haven't done that yet. Which reminds me, but they've got more defensive. We changed them from the individual mitigations to the generic organic, physical, and elemental. So you get 3 instead. So shields are significantly better. Setting intermediate armor to require a crafting table. Yes, basic armor is gone. I think we should have a moment of silence for basic armor. Do we have a picture for it?
No, we don't. You didn't tell me to have a moment of silence, an in memoriam picture for basic armor.
Yes, basic armor is gone. The game flow is now in the beachheads. You will make basic weapons, get a taste of the game, get some leather, then advance out to the forts, of which there will be intermediate crafting stations, and from there you can craft the new intermediate armor, which is fantastic. It's going to use leather. I totally need to have Valerie add leather into that recipe so that they have a reason to kill those boars. Yes. Starting to make a game now rather than a bunch of stuff. So that's exciting for us. So we're worrying about flow and other things like that. Focus Orbs and Scimitars are now craftable. Updating crafting recipes and experimentation data for new intermediate tools. Yes, intermediate tools are now a thing. They will be crafted at those same intermediate stations in the forts and not the beachhead. You can use basic stuff when you're in the beachhead, and then you advance out to intermediate stuff. Added a dust requirement to equipment and armor recipes. Pretty much everything is going to get a dust requirement as we kind of walk our way through it, so don't be surprised that dust as a requirement starts to show up. In fact, there is a new potion being added today called a Dust Finder or something like that, which will enable you to get more dust right off the bat. So, like I said, the game is starting to arrive. And as you alluded to last time, it kind of comes in these huge fits and bursts, and things just all start coming together pretty quickly. Necklace gem cuts are now available. Yes, there's now the, I just made them like 2 weekends ago. The heart cut, the trillion cut, and the briolette.
You will like them.
You will like them. Necklaces do different things than, they have different stat packages than rings. So, in fact, some of those stats are unique. I think we've got some like basic damage in there. We've got all kinds of fun stuff. So, enjoy. Final crafted item will now be created when you click the take button instead of when the crafting timer ends. That sounds like a mark note. I think that's an implementation detail. Settings. Fixed an issue where brightness preferences were not applied until the settings UI is opened. Important. Sound design. A full sound design pass has been done on the following game components. Druid and Druid abilities, harvesting and harvesting energetic buffs will no longer be silent, and assassin and assassin abilities. I think more are happening as we speak. That's just where he was when he did it. Yeah, we have an official sound designer now who just, you saw his early work in the last update, and he's refined it more for 5.5. Volume adjustments for common whooshes and assassin dodge. Whooshes looks like a funny word when it's written down. Fixing issue where ranger drawback sound would continue to play when you dodged. New dirt generic footstep sounds. I'm just seeing out of the corner of my eye it says laser druid. Yeah, they're all gone. All of the sci-fi effects from the druid were gone. That was part of his first pass, which he was just kind of getting his feet wet, so it happens. Fix missing placeholder sounds for Myrmidon left mouse button and Bull Rush. Fixed missing sounds for Templar basic attack. Fixed missing placeholder sounds for Elkin headbutt. Okay, you want to grab the next bucket?
Sure. Let's see. Effects. Re-added destruction effects to buildings. Adding Master of Scimitar effects. So that's
Makes sense.
Adjusting firewall particles to fire mesh. Optimizing rune caster discipline field. Harvesting changes for SFX support. And fixing rune caster cast. And barrier effects now attached to the root of building. So let's...
I guess they were probably playing up too high or off a little bit.
And now we're on to classes. Assassin. Assassin backstab should grant 2 pips from behind. Knights, here's a pretty big change.
I think we should also have another period of mourning here for...
Staminite?
The Staminite is gone.
Yeah, no more Staminite.
The dream of the Dark Souls Knight is now dead.
And it will now live on as the Energy Knight.
And he is now the Energy Knight.
So Knights have an energy pool of 1,000, which generates at a rate proportionally identical to stamina. Knights now use energy for abilities instead of stamina. Noble Blood returns 350 energy instead of stamina, updated strings and all that stuff. Knight UI should show the energy bar now. So pretty much, Knight's should play pretty similarly to how it did before, only now you don't have to worry about, am I gonna block or use abilities, whatever.
A lot of folks are probably, those people are gone.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and they will return.
They can come back.
But yeah, the new crew will be like, hey, this is completely different because we never knew anything but.
Yeah. And parallel to that, Rangers. Rangers now always regenerate energy regardless of the tray they're in, meaning you can play exclusively in the melee tray if and you want.
Yes. Could cause problems. We'll have to see.
We'll see.
We will see.
And then some general bug fixes, several more adjustments to server performance and stability. Fixed a bug where some objects would not thunk correctly depending on how a player approached the area, campaign, worlds, and DK.
Yep.
Updated weak point size and positioning for harvesting muskogs and hellcats. Fixed the issue of the survival tray reticle centered the first time upon logging into the campaign. I think that was just a race condition thingy. Fixed weapons coming out of the Centaur Cleric's hand when casting Illuminate. Set split body version of Arc Lightning to loop. Fixed several bank transaction bugs such as resume on login and routes for deposits. When logging into your EK for the first time, you should no longer be treated as dead after you've created your character. So
that's pretty. That's a. You know what? I don't even think they saw that one. It was just.
Oh, you think that was just internal?
Yeah, that was an internal one, but it's still funny.
Updating tooltip data to include equip list for shields. Fixed an issue where the avatar was shown and hidden at an undesirably high frequency. You should no longer be able to exit out of the character creation screen when you are required to create a character on your first login.
Yep.
Alluded to in earlier notes. After logging out and back in while a crow, you should not be required to create a new character. And finally, Spirit Crow should no longer display a reticle.
All right. So those are the things that we have done. It doesn't allude to all the things that are being worked on in these next couple weeks as we try and seal this one up to get it ready for test, which is still a couple weeks away. But we alluded to the crypt and just actually the Deathloop portion of it. Mm-hmm. There really wasn't much of, it's called Deathloop and crypts, but there's really no crypt information in there. And the crypt is where you go to actually swap out your vessel. That functionality has been removed from the temple area. You have a limited number of character slots. I saw that UI yesterday. And you will be able to basically jump into a different vessel at the crypt only. So where we put those in the world, we're still deciding on that. The crypt location is actually being built out. Right now it's a cave with a thing in the middle you click on. It will get more exciting. It'll be more like the Yaga statue that Dave drew a couple weeks back. And all of the other efforts, there's be more added to these things. We're definitely getting more cooler AI. Skills bugs continue to get fixed. More crafting recipes, because we're, again, as far as crafting goes, we're just making content now.
Yeah.
Right. So that stuff is kind of, we just decide, you know what, we need a potion for this. We need a new recipe for that. Let's go ahead and make it. Let's go ahead and remove basic armor. Rest in peace. And onto the intermediate armors. Anyway, so yeah, that's what we've done. We've got a lot more that we're building to try and bundle, and everybody's kind of racing at this point to try and make the cutoffs and get everything in, and then we'll go into a bug fix mode on test, and that's when you guys will be able to play it. So, anything else to add? All right, so we can open it up to questions.
They are already going.
They're already going.
Yep.
Do you want to scroll back up, or
They pretty much start with Anres asking about thralls. If you want to scroll them.
Okay. Will thralls be tied to the training requirements, or like in other cases, will everyone be able to test at first? On test server, everyone will be able to test everything. When it goes to live, they'll have requirements. So you're going to start seeing this as well. We're going to start adding. In fact, I saw Valerie's test case of basically a weapon rack or terminal or whatever you can go to. Actually, it'll probably be a vendor as soon as we can make system vendors where you can just pull resources off of them and just craft right there on the spot with the stations right there. Basically trying to make it more like a test server and then live more like the gameplay experience. A test will be used to knock out the bugs and check out the newest stuff we've done. We just haven't had time to actually build the other.
I mean, it's worth noting that vendors are also useful to us because they'll give us the ability to be like, hey, you know what? We want to test X, Y, Z. Let's put X, Y, and Z on the vendor for you guys to grab and try out. So.
Will Raycast Cone for ranged players? Yes, I'm asking about again. Going to be revisited. It's still very much a problem. Yep, no time on this current docket to look at it. We will look at it in the future. Have the Druid teleport through buildings' walls been changed? No.
Nope, not yet.
Nope. We will get to that one as well, but we only have so much time in the week, and that one is not a high priority for us. Rings have a lot of class-specific stats added to the cut. Will necklaces also see this? There is the only reason that the rings got the class stuff was because of the resource types. That whole having one generic resource stat just didn't work out the way we wanted it to. So you will now make a ring that's got Fury on it, or one that's got stamina or whatever on it. Actually, I don't think it's stamina. It's a essence cut. But that's 1/5 of the options. If you don't like those options, there's another 5 cuts for combat. Any chance moving these to a place where crafters can choose to add them and keep more general stats on the cut? We would just cut the recipes by 5 probably then. Not out of the park, but again, we'll see. Will you fix physics-based skills such as Night Chain Pull and Myrmidon Net Pull? Those are actually teleports now, Blazin. Those are not physics skills anymore. And I'm hoping with the new movement stuff that the teleport stuff will get fixed as well. I think I saw something on Andy's machine. When that all tied up in that ball of wax is teleporting through objects like walls. So that's why it's not a specific thing, but it's going to get fixed alongside those things. Is Necromancy dead?
No.
No. In fact, people are starting to actually craft now. Necromancy, you will make the vessels. You still, you will go, I need a centaur, I need an epic centaur body, and then I'm going to turn that one into a knight. So you're going to have to find a necromancer to make that for you. And the additives, he can customize it to however you want it. And the same with the attributes.
Right.
So it is not dead at all. How has server performance been addressed with 5.5? Engineering has been nonstop working on trying to figure out what ailments we got with the server with the Unity upgrade. So when we upgraded to 2017.3, we started to see some radical changes in the server performance, and they've been trying to nail that down. Is Necromancy implemented in 5.5? Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, it's right now, I wonder if they mean maybe our vessels...
Are vessels swappable as things? Yes. So by the time that Akshay is finished with what he's working on, you will be able to equip it, and it goes into a slot. Basically, this all happens at the crypt. You go to the crypt, the UI pops up, it shows you what slot you're in, you can choose a new slot, and in that slot you can put a vessel from your inventory. Basically, you are unpacking that thing or imprinting it, and from that point on, it is now a slot in your avatar list. So that is where Necromancy fits into that. Will Rangers get resource cost to range abilities now that they are regen energy in both trays?
Ranged abilities, again, you're using arrows, so probably not.
Yeah, that is the double gate.
That
is the double gate. I know people have been asking for some of that, but I'm concerned about that as well. If there's too many restrictions, I never really liked the what class was that? I think it was the WoW Rogue. One of their specs was super energy gated, even though they also had pips as well. So you're kind of juggling between the two. In some cases it works out, but in a lot of cases I was non-stop energy starved, and
yeah, it's just frustrating, right? It's like I have all these pips but no energy, or I have all this energy and no combo points in the WoW case. So I mean,
yeah, it definitely,
Blair and I are in agreement.
Having 2 resource types is definitely a challenge. When will we get cheese?
We need cows first, or something you can milk.
Well, we did add water wells in 5.5. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, we just have cheese wells.
Yes, so you can walk around the world and you will find a well, and the well will produce water because water is now required for the jewel crafting cuts.
I would live in a cheese well.
Would you?
I absolutely
Cheese well.
would.
We need cheese wells and chocolate fountains.
Chocolate fountains and cheese wells.
So now it's Valentine's Day. We can talk about the chocolate fountains. So that was a 1 year on Galaxies. By the time that we got to the point where Lucas really didn't give a rat's ass anymore about what we were doing, we were able to put a chocolate fountain in with Ewoks around it.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, the Ewoks even had little wings, like they were wearing wings. They were basically dancing around a chocolate fountain.
That's beautiful.
Yes, isn't
And
it?
That actually got combined with what Steve termed as Naked Day, which was a bug. I can't remember what was the story. He was trying to update. An artist was trying to update something to do with appearance. Oh, that's right, turning off helms.
He was turning off helms. Yeah, he was
Turning off
making he was making a checkbox so you could turn off your helm.
But unfortunately, it turned off everything, so it just made your character naked. So people got naked
And danced
and
at the
and
chocolate
fountain,
fountains.
and it was beautiful.
Gotta love game development. Okay, on to more questions. Placements of assets in the EK became bugged more than a month ago. I've seen no mention of this issue or is being worked on. Can you tell us when this will work correctly again in 5.5? Thank you. I have not seen that specific bug. I don't see all of the bugs, but we will definitely ask Raymond about that one, won't we, Jack?
We will.
Thank you. +1 to ranger resources needed. How creepy are the spiders?
They're pretty creepy.
They
I
kind of
mean,
remind me of the Bankin and Rass,
yeah,
the
they
Hobbit
do, eh?
special.
Yeah, if you remember the
I
animated
even
version.
look at that. I invoked an A from Mark. He totally slipped up into that one. Yes,
Did I say A?
yes, you
Oh,
did, and
man.
we've got it on video.
My northern roots are showing.
Oh my god.
So he was really in
That's
agreement on
terrible.
that one.
Yeah, eh? Holy cow! Holy wow!
Oh no.
Oh no! Holy wow!
Yes, they look like the. If you saw the old cartoon version of The Hobbit, which is the Bankin and Rass version, the spiders are very furry like that. They're glorious. I really like them. They turned out great. I think everyone loves them. And the Hunger version is equally as cool because they have armor. And yeah, they're badass. Good job, art team. Can we get clarity referring vessels as character? Has durability been removed? So that is a great question. I'm not sure how we're going to decay them now. That is, obviously we want to do it to keep Necromancy in a loop of creating stuff, but we don't want to make it so punitive that you feel like you have to swap out, especially since they have levels built into them. That is something we're going to play through after we get to that point and see if we still need it, what tweaks we need to make of it. Right now we're just setting up the tech where you can actually swap it out and not have a vessel object sitting in your inventory, because they look cool. I want to play with them, but I can't. It's those toys you can't play with. Will the physical vision range of the roaming crow spirits, what will the physical version of the roaming crow spirits be? Can they see players and nodes? Can they see map coordinates? How will body camping be dealt with? So the crow can only see other players and resource nodes if they're within, I think it's a 10-meter bubble of their corpse or the temple. So everything in between, you can't see or shouldn't be able to see. How will body camping be dealt with? Well, if you go to your body and you see bad guys around it, don't go back into your vessel. If you have to, you can tow truck back to the temple and take the decay hit. That's always an option. Did they say when 5.5 will be on test? No, we did not. It's still very much in development. Everyone is kind of pushing to try and make cutoffs, but it's still nowhere near ready.
Is Necromancer Crafter being scratched? No.
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 Can we put up a little banner?
Necromancy
Necromancy
alive and
alive.
well.
Necromancy is alive and well. We're really happy with it. It's one of the really unique things about Crowfall harvesting and crafting. We don't want to see anything jeopardize that.
Like, I don't know of any other MMOs where you literally harvest body parts and make a person to play.
Right? I mean, that's we clearly we have a lot of love for Necromancy. I have a real issue with the buffer system for skills on parry of the Templar. I buff it a lot of time with my parry holding right mouse button while I want to parry E, but I'm not press it in time.
Okay, sounds like I'll take a look at that. I'm not sure 100% what you're saying, but I'll look at it and make sure.
Could you just
something
copy
has
that
it.
text and save it for us, Jack?
Yes.
It's a question from Dravix.
Yeah, in case there's something.
Spiders, what do they drop? Well, they drop spider parts. Of course. What kind of question is that?
Naturally.
I mean, spider parts. Yes. What do you do with that? I think they're getting spider meat. They clearly have hide. They can be harvested for their hide. I mean, we have to have hide in this game. I mean,
I know, but spiders have exoskeletons.
well, yeah, but you harvest the winter ones for chitin and things like that. We don't have any recipes that use chitin,
That's fair.
right? We just don't have that yet. We have lots of recipes that use
Time
leather.
to make new recipes, Blair.
Yes. I will put that on my queue. That will happen on Thursday from 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. Okay.
Fantastic.
Is Fey Glide and Double Jump in 5.5? It is not. Otherwise, we would have released the Fey. So Andy is working on the movement controller stuff. It's in his queue.
Prerequisite for that.
Yep. So as soon as his queue, that Glide and Double Jump work their way up there, we will get the Fey turned on. It's just a switch. I know. I really want to turn that switch on, and I can't. What type of leather is spider, or is there no skinning of spiders? They are carnivores, and I think it's supple hide. I think. How are vendors going to work in the real game? Will players be able to place them only at the beachhead, open world, or EK? Good question. They will mainly be placed in the EKs because people want to set up Walmarts. So the loop may really be I recall to the beachhead, beachhead to the Nexus, Nexus to the EKs to go shopping. Or there will be something in-game clearly for guilds to use. I don't know if that thing will be a vendor or not. We're still walking there. We'll see. We'll see where this ends up. Have you changed any of the Scimitar power design to use the shield slot, etc.?
I have not.
I have not. You know what? I haven't looked actually at. I guess we should probably look at that discipline and make sure everything's still hunky dory now that we actually have the scimitars.
Right.
Because I guess we were just so excited to get the scimitar, and it's a scimitar.
Makes me so mad every time.
It's a scimitar with the little words inscribed on it. If you look really close,
It's really a sickle.
no,
It's actually a sickle.
no. If you read right there, it says "The Last Jedi" was a bad movie.
Oh my god.
Oh, God, just
Don't
bringing
derail
it.
this live stream so quickly.
Do you guys know about the dig bug for Ganeshan being able to use buffs in dig and dodge roll?
I saw somebody bugging that today.
Okay.
One of the bugs, or one of the examples of the bugs, was using the Knight's Shout to recover stamina and stay there forever, but that's not going to happen in 5.5 because it will restore energy.
Yes, that will also decouple the Knight from... I mean, there was just so many things that piled on that.
Yeah.
Decouple them from harvesting.
Yeah.
Retaliate now, since Retaliate was actually
Right,
the final.
That was the final straw.
That was the final. It was like, all right, Stamina Knight is dead.
Because basically we're saying like, hey, guess what, Knights? Stamina for everything.
Yep. Max just came by to stick his tongue out. He obviously heard the Last Jedi reference.
The delay working.
There's a constant grenade we can drop in the area that literally lights off everybody, and that movie is so polarizing amongst.
Good trigger phrase.
So
Bring up Last Jedi and then leave the room.
Yeah, and then everyone is in chaos. Flying Leia. Oh my god. Anyways, I can only be grateful when Unity physics are slowly dropped. Good times. We have fun. All right. In a recent live stream, it was stated by the devs that the problems with Gaia's Whale stem from sync issues. Several posts, including videos, were made in response to this, demonstrating clearly that the issues are not due to sync. Do the devs know how Gaia's Whale is working currently and how to fix it? I have not seen any of those videos.
So, I mean, Gaia's Whale is a projectile. One of the problems with projectiles is they can miss. So, I mean...
Yeah, I'm not sure what to say because I haven't seen the videos. Anthrage, if you could send them to Jack,
yes,
he would. He will definitely get them in front of us. Can you switch your vessel's class after it has been equipped and retain your progression disciplines? You cannot. So that's one of the things that we're trying to create with this gameplay loop is, and that's why our leveling isn't as
punishing
as the past is we want you to try lots of different vessels and lots of different class combos. So if you consume, basically, if you use a knight and you unpack him and you put disciplines in him and you put XP in him and you make him a knight, he's a knight forever. You can't turn him back into an inventory object. At that point, the only thing that can be done with him in the current model is you can delete him and use that slot for another vessel, which I'm guessing is going to happen by the time everybody starts with a white quality vessel. By the time the necromancers start cranking out bodies, people are going to want those blue and purple quality vessels, and you're going to replace that knight. You still like knights, but you want a blue one because he gets, I don't know, what does he get?
More stats?
He gets plus attribute points or something on leveling. So you're definitely going to want that little edge, so you're going to take a blue one. So you're going to get rid of that old white one, or maybe you just decide that this discipline, I could make, the discipline that gives you 750 support power that Brandon made this week. So you want to make the healing knight. And yes, that's how we solve that problem with like the melee classes being so far behind, is there's a minor discipline they can take to boost their support levels up such that, hey, healing is a thing. So you will come up with those ideas, you will think it's fun, and you'll make lots of characters is the hope, and unpack lots of vessels, keeping the necromancers happy because everybody is always looking for vessels. Don't worry, the character slot vessel system isn't confusing. I think once you play it, it will make a whole lot of sense. And then you won't need to, you'll be like, oh, okay. That's how it works. Will we see any adventure parcels in the new 5.5 Wrath map? Yes, you will. That's the whole point of 5.5.
Is adventure. You know what? And I never read the title, which was Welcome to Adventuring.
5.5, Welcome to Adventuring.
I just went straight to the meat.
Good job, Halash. Quivers don't use arrows.
That's right.
Thank you, Blaze.
That is a Satan.
I think they were more concerned about you guys talking about the ranger.
The double resource.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what that
not
was
a-
in response to.
Currently, other uses can use quivers. Is this intended?
I believe so. I don't know.
It's gated on the that discipline also gives you the ability to equip the quiver. We're not saying
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
right. So you have to get the ability to use the elemental arrow or whatever arrow, and then that automatically unlocks the quiver. We did basically make ranger only quivers. We could if we really wanted to punish everyone else.
Right. But we will. I'm not mean. Blair's mean.
I mean, that's all that would be at that point. Currently, other classes can use quivers. Will there be a skill and or spirit bank wipe like in 5.4 for 5.5? I don't know yet, Stringor. We might need one. We always...
We'll have to see.
Now that we have 10x training basically enabled on live where you get skills at 10x the pace, because I saw somebody actually spend 6 days worth of time bank last night in the video I was watching, and I was like, holy crap, he just bought the whole tree. Oh, wait a minute, that was worth 60 days that he just spent? You're like, okay.
Yeah.
So we're a little less worried about that now that we have a way to artificially advance you guys. And we will do it if we need it. Okay, why does the assassin have to be in the harvest trade to enter stealth? Because we don't want them in combat mode and just ducking out of combat. If you want to duck out of combat and go into stealth, there are 2 powers available to you. Yes?
Supercharged?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, you're...
So yes,
I didn't realize you're like...
yes, that was a
quizzing
question.
me.
That was quiz. All right, question 1.
With the question mark.
That was, in fact, a question. Yes, there is the duelist one, and then there is the...
The assassin one.
And technically the confessor one puts them in stealth, but it pops them out after it's over. Cheese comment was read and linked to jewel crafting. My life is made. You are welcome. Cheese is delicious.
Also,
you know what?
let's do a discussion on cheese wells.
And cheese wells, as well as the article this week. Did you see that cheese now apparently is linked to that portion of the brain, just like hard drugs?
What? Wait,
I mean,
what?
That's real.
Right.
Wait, so cheese is addictive? Is that what they're saying?
Yes.
Oh,
They're
okay.
in fact
I
saying
mean, I could have told them that. How much
Yeah.
money did they spend on this study?
billions of dollars.
Probably
Just give me
billions.
billions of dollars of cheese.
Billions of dollars of cheese. That sounds delicious. Water. Yes, water from water wells. I guess we're just lagging so much. God, look at all this. Ah.
Yeah, we're.
It wasn't necessarily lagged so much as they have a lot of questions.
You guys have a lot of questions. We are going through them as
We
fast.
have a lot of answers.
We have a lot of answers, and we don't like to go yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, because this is all about giving you guys some insight into why and how we do things. Okay, many advanced skill trees are not passing on their impact to stats. Has this been fixed?
If you notice anything like that, please let us know.
It's usually a data bug.
Yeah.
Hey, someone says they miss Swig Wookie Day, which was Life Day.
Yep.
Rip.
You know, I should never mind. I'm gonna tell the holiday special story. How I snuck the. So if you remember the Star Wars holiday special, Lucas liked to pretend that didn't happen, and so forbade us from having any mention of it. But I snuck the words into the song that Carrie Fisher sung onto the Wookiee Life Day orb.
Every year we gave out that Life Day orb, and it had some lore text. And
The
lore
lore
text
text.
is often how we communicate all kinds of things. Good job, Halash.
You're welcome.
Will we ever see a trade menu like we have for party invites? Yes, the trade. There is a notification and whole little social widget that we need to build that we will definitely be building. Will non-owners be able to use an EK crafting station? I think so.
Admin rights?
Yes, we don't have the admin rights stuff working right now. Max level necromancer repairs vessels. Maybe. We'll see. Will wells have quality, or can we only bootstrap the water flask with the flask? Are the changes to bootstrap is a bit punitive? The water quality does not factor into the recipe. It's set to false. I personally set it to false. And so whatever the quality of the water is, it won't count against you. We're having to start to get or pay more attention to the qualities of things, since things can be thrown into the sacrifice brazier.
Right.
So if we were to make it blue or whatever just for giggles, you would be able to use it for XP. Chaos Embers are blue quality, so they can be used to level, but the drop rate on those is so small compared to dust that they will be fairly rare. Will VIP be able to backfill skill trees? I'm not sure what backfilling a skill tree would be.
Yeah, I mean, you can pretty much only use time bank on the tree that you have time banked for. So
Yes,
you couldn't
so
go
Billy-
back if that's what the
Billy is
question was.
updating that. We're changing the flow on that little widget because it sucks, the tooltip, but it was what we had time for. And we are making the time bank actually say its name. So it will say Crafting Basics Time Bank or Combat Basics Time Bank, because a lot of people don't understand that the time bank is not based on the tree. The general assumption is it's universal, and it's not. It's only for that tree. What is the challenge with adding new herb, farming, plant stuff, art, code, animation, design, time?
Those things.
All of those things, which equal time, because we have a bunch of stuff that we promised that we are obligated to get done and the game needs before we work on that stuff.
Right.
Not that we don't want that stuff. It's just the other stuff is way more important at this point.
It'll come.
Will you fix current double dipping in VIP, training both mage and arcane at once? I don't know the answer to that question.
Me neither. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, that's one of the ones I do not know the answer on.
Double dipping mage and arcane. So that would be training two skills at the same time in the same set of trees,
No,
right?
mage is
Or
the previous tree.
Mage is the prereq
Right.
to, or arcane is the prereq to mage, if I'm not mistaken. It's the other way. Yeah, it's that
No,
way.
mage is the
Is it? Okay.
Yeah,
No,
it's
mage
mage.
is the pre. You're right.
I only know 'cause I've been-
That's arcane and divine.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So much. At this point, the game is getting so big. Yes. We should probably talk about that. All right. When you add water flax to jewel crafting, it can shift the assembly option just like grit, I thought.
it shouldn't, right? Because it's not supposed to add quality or effect.
Correct. Yeah, it shouldn't factor into the... if it is during the assembly phase, we can look at that. But clearly for the experimentation phase, we have a box that says contributes or not. What type of hide, flexible, carnivore? Yeah, I already said that. Will you fix hunger and recall cooldowns being reset on logout? Yeah, we just didn't have long cooldowns, longer than a minute, so it really didn't matter. Now we do.
And it does.
And it does. It's a ticket on engineering, I assure you. If they eat a human male, will they drop Spider-Man?
What if they eat a pig? Would they drop
Spider Pig? Spider Pig, Spider Pig does whatever a Spider Pig does. Can necromancers craft with spider parts? No, they can't.
What if I want to make a drider?
Ah,
I didn't say that.
Ah,
I didn't say it.
Look at that. I got support from Halash now. Yes, I want to add drider. All right. Are you going to continue to remove root motion from the rest of the skills in the game? I think Champion Rend had it removed recently and it worked better. Remember on Colossus Smash? Well, so we still have root motion in the game because that's how the Nethari dash works. That is a complete root motion power. The leaps are root motions. So, no, we still have to fix it and keep it working because we have powers that rely on it. Wood Elf mobility was cut back via a pair of changes to how Dissipate works. Following that, several classes saw fixes which increased their mobility. It now seems like the mobility nerf may have been overdone. Any chance of evaluating this?
Right. Well, I mean, basically, right now your dodge refresh time is basically linked to how far you can dodge, right? So I would be leery of reducing that without reducing the range.
How far? Yep.
So
that was the price. That was the blood price. All right. Similar question to projectiles versus raycast. Are you going to move the remaining projectile abilities such as Druid Bear to raycast? Champion Hurlbat was recently made a raycast as a projectile and it works a lot better now. We will see. Where necessary, we can talk about it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a matter of style. Like, for example, the Ghost Army could not work as a raycast because it requires...
Yeah, same with the tornadoes.
Tornadoes, stuff like that. Some things are going to have to. So we're never going to get rid of projectiles completely, but where it makes sense and for the purposes of gameplay, we have been doing that. So,
Ghost Army. All right. Disagree with Andrage on the nerf was overdone. Yes, you guys can fight it out. Will we ever see a trade menu like we have for part? Yeah. Again, there's clearly a UI piece that's missing. So will EK be able to stay on longer without a player? I am not sure, Dino Rage. When do we get capes? That is a good question. We should go grab Melissa and ask her. Hey, Melissa, when do we get capes?
If she's watching.
No capes.
Will Spider output any items to expand the poison options? Feels like a logical expansion.
It's a good idea. I mean...
we haven't
say never, but I mean, probably not for 5.5.
We haven't. I mean, since that's content, at any time we can put that in. Right now, we're mainly concerned with standing them up and making them attack, and that being fun. And then we're going to work on the loot that goes on them, because that's also part of the fun. The nerf to Dissipate, it was okay. It was OP, has been brought back. Yep. Crowfall, when are guilds going to be in? That is not currently in the 5.5. cycle. I think a piece of it might be in 5.6. Yes, I remember the time that I trolled Jack on a live stream. Last Jedi. That's all I gotta say, man.
Hurts my heart every time.
Any terraforming being implemented? Well, technically moving the parcels around the EK is kind of terraforming, but I think you're probably referring to planting crops and all that kind of stuff, and that is not on the current near future. We definitely want to do it, though. I love growing crops. There are numerous trait issues, such as leadership not slotting into stealth. Are these being reviewed currently? Damn it!
Yeah.
Looks like... All right, that one's a bug.
So, yeah, exactly. Any things like that, please bring them to our attention, right? I mean, we're fixing them as we find them and as y'all report them, so let us know.
It is a big game. Thankfully, we just got another designer hired on. So we have a little more bandwidth, and it's just knocking out all these bugs. As the game gets bigger and bigger, every time we add something, we risk destabilizing something else, and that's just the way it is. If you want to stop making bugs, you got to stop adding content, and we're not ready to do that anywhere near close. Okay, food consumption is off the chain now. 1 5 to 8 minute fight will tank the entire chicken ticker. Can we get that re-looked at for stamina usage? We can, but food is very important. And what's funny is that is just the side effect of a bug getting fixed, because that rate has been in there for. We haven't touched the rates for probably a year and a half.
Yeah.
Like I don't, in fact, think we've ever changed.
You're
those.
the only one who's I think ever touched that one. So.
And the only reason
it ain't been touched.
A series of bugs were making it such that food was not a problem. Like, hey, every time I swap a tray or equip an item, I get free chicken ticker.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes. And now with once even more food gets in, then less of a problem. I really like the survivalist campfires.
Yeah.
Okay, Jack, watch some
quick.
videos.
Yep.
Okay. They can miss a stationary target. Last Jedi was trash. You are correct.
This close to
Oh,
beating
boy.
it. Just like out of reflex, but I didn't do it.
Look, there's clearly a right side to this one and a wrong side.
Right, that's why I almost banned it. It's clearly
'Cause
wrong,
you are on the
and a
wrong
terrible
side.
person.
Is the possibility of fort's walls, depending on the upgrade level, granting a buff of some kind, homes granting food regeneration, etc. Yeah, that is definitely a possibility. That sounds like something that we could do. Can you add the assassin poison dart from stealth fort to the same list? She tosses it to the left and right instead of ahead.
Okay. Yeah.
I wonder why. I wonder if that's an effect thing.
Maybe. Well, again, we'll look at it.
I mean, the DM clearly does its damage,
You
but
see where we're looking, Jack? Can you add write that one down?
Who was it that asked?
Council Reaver talking
Oh.
about
the
poison
assassin
dart.
poison dart.
Make sure we look at that.
Yes, I'll find
I think that's an effects bug. Jewel crafting stats have been pumped up in 5.5 in line with weapon stats. Yes,
Yeah, they're juicy.
they are very juicy. You are not going to want any of the current stuff. If you want to figure out what the combinations are, great, but the 5.5 jewelry clearly eclipses, which reminds me, we probably should nerf the fashion statement minor discipline, because that was granting them 2 extra necklace slots.
Oh, sure.
And necklace slots are necks are incredible. So as much as I like fashion statement and I pity the fool, maybe 1 extra necklace slot is appropriate, and should probably share the same slot that the high elf gets for free as part of the racial, because the high elf gets an extra necklace slot and the Ganetian gets an extra ring slot. Okay. We already answered that one. The metal used in making shields can create resistances but cannot be experimented on. Bugger by design. That has been completely changed. They use different stats now. However, I'm a little worried that that is the same issue with layers. So we should probably send QA back in there to see that armor layers still work properly. Knowing games like Terra, Raider Z, Neverwinter, Black Desert, what can we expect in terms of combat, animation, speed, and complexity for the end product? Well, it's pretty complicated right now, and the animation speeds are pretty fast. I mean, most are under 0.8 or 0.6, so I'm not quite
It
sure.
depends. I mean, some of the longer combos are longer, but I mean, yeah, I wouldn't expect any dramatic changes in terms of combat, like the speed of things. I mean,
Yeah. Well, actually, so frame rates will get better.
right.
So
well, obviously, like performance issues, right?
performance issues will make it feel much snappier, and but that's still in progress. Elemental arrows are not in 5.4. Will they be added in 5.5?
Make sure the recipe is.
So did we give
available.
arcane elemental arrows, or not? I
As-
can't remember if I didn't look at my notes. I wrote down something on this. I can't remember if we were reserving an arrow type for a future discipline, or if it was supposed to go. I know arcane gets something. Would you consider changing the arcing / whirlwind combo of the Myrmidon to a single step whirlwind only skill? It feels clunky at the moment.
I think he just wants to Activate whirlwind.
without the patterns for elemental arrows. All right, I'll look at that.
Do you want me to also send you that?
No, I got that.
Okay.
Because that's a quick check on my part. Yes, so we're not looking to change Whirlwind, the prerequisites, which is the power in front of it. Right now, with the buffer system, you cannot use multi-keybinds on combo skills. Shift 1 cannot be used for combo skills.
Sounds like an input problem.
Yeah, it sounds... Because I can see you wanting to press... Shift, is Shift a reserve? Oh. It's remapping E to Shift 1, I think. So if you wanted to do 111 or Shift 111, rather than actually having to navigate over to E, I could see people wanting to do that. That should probably be a Sam question.
Yeah.
How is your mustache down to your neck the only part of your beard not gray? It's majestic.
He actually takes a black.
Oh, it's Tap Steady. That's Greg. Greg.
Oh, very good. Good question, Greg.
Greg.
Why is he
How does
watching?
that work? He has a black magic marker. He just
I take the. I can't believe that Greg is fixated on my beard.
I can't believe you read it without realizing who it was.
Just like.
Because I'm just reading them.
You can literally post any question and Blair will read it.
Cheese.
He's like Ron.
Cheese, Blair. Is that my wife?
Sure sounds like it.
Want some cheese? All right. Stealth and perception seems very buggy. The perception buff seem to only reveal if they are stealthier is inside the bubble at the time of casting, rather than...
Don't trigger me, Blair. That question's going to trigger me again.
You know what? I wonder if that's a thing. It shouldn't be a thing.
You remember that got fixed like 2 or 3 days ago, so it's probably still broken in life.
Oh, okay.
Perception stuff should work.
But actually,
Blair and I were shouting at each other about this.
This one is this one. He's talking about a trigger volume though. So what he's saying here is perception only reveal them if they are inside the bubble at the time of casting, not if they breach the bubble after it's been cast.
Okay.
So that might be something worth investigating, Jack.
Okay.
On the QA side of the house, we can replicate that, but if that's happening, that is a bug because while that bubble is up, it's basically like you have a spotlight, right? And you're searching that area. So if anybody goes into the lights, it should clearly reveal them. Holy crap, it is 12 o'clock.
It is.
Already.
I am going to scroll to the bottom and answer one last question.
See, that Ron Burgundy, that's the name. God, thank you. That's what I was going for. It's like, please somebody type something ridiculous at Crowfall, blee, 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 blee. I am a dancing teacup. And Blair would read it.
Oh, shit. Okay, last question. Is there a rough ETA on 5.5 or just when it's ready? Yes, I never like to give.
Yeah.
We are still in implementation phase. If that gives you a kind of a take a temperature test, feel the wind blowing kind of thing. It is still in progress. And how big is the map in 5.5 compared to Tyranny? It is bigger. And we're starting to do things that we are preparing to break the world into different, basically, zones. Basically different, those islands that we have alluded to in the past. So that every map from here on out should be different and a step towards us getting to the eventual campaign goal of linking multiples of these together. So that is where we're going. And the final question is, how are the Stoneborn going? I think the Stoneborn are going fine. I know. It's more of an art question. I have no clue where. I mean, I saw it on someone's monitor, or at least the high poly version a couple of weeks ago, but I don't know where that means it's in the pipeline. Clearly, we prioritize getting some of the females done, so we'd have male and female options before making a bunch of new single-sexed ones. So, coming soon is, I guess, the best you can say. That one's kind of soonish because it's off in the distance. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming out to Patch Notes from the Future. we will see you again next week, right, Jack?
Yes.
Yeah, we're up next week for to show you something new and exciting from 5.5, and who knows who it will be, because we might show something. We'll definitely show something fun from 5.5. We'll see what's available. So,
Right. Till next time.
till next time, we will see you. Thank you for coming out.
Stare ahead.